With Steve. This is episode 1 of J7 Disability Talks, Disability Stories. Now, don't overthink. Tell him who you are. What's your name?
My name's Stephen Parry. I'm from Bury originally, but I live in Rackley. And I'm 59 years old.
59 years old. So all I want to do here now, mate, is obviously me and you have got a relationship. And I think you're fantastic. I think you're inspirational. I think your story, and along with other people that come to J7, I think the world are desperate to hear your stories. So when I released my book, it was great. It was, and what I realized was, and this is why I wanted to do the book, because I wanted people to see it's not about me all the time. It's about other people. And you guys, to me, are the real heroes. You know what I mean? I'm just a person who's orchestrating. You guys are the heroes. Your story is a little bit different from other people's because you wasn't born disabled. Yeah. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to just tell me, if you don't mind. I know you don't. Tell me because I think people want to hear it, especially after we did that video the other day when you were doing the pull-ups. That went a bit mad, and everyone's like, "Who's this guy? This guy's a bit mad." Yeah. Yes, Junaid. Yes, that kid. Yeah, he's from Bradford. He's a bit mad. Yeah, he's got rubbish hair as well. So I'm gonna give you this, mate. Just hold it near your mouth and just tell him your journey, man. Tell him how it started. Watch the kettlebell, you sausage. You're gonna trip over the kettlebell. Look at him. Yeah. Tell him your story, man, about what happened with your disability, how you became disabled.
In December 23rd, 2009, I went for keel surgery on my left knee, just basic meniscus tear. And then about a day and a half after, I got a burning in my foot, and the leg was really like a block of ice. And I thought something not right here. So I went up to A&E and basically
Manchester
in Bury. Yeah, I went up to the Fairfield Hospital in Bury, and it's very strange. For some strange reason, they x-rayed me back, and I kept saying, "You need to x-ray where I've had the surgery," and sent me over some painkillers, and then referred me to see an orthopaedic, which was about 2 months after. During that time, my leg had started to go numb, and I lost complete control of my bladder. So I went back to see this orthopaedic. Basically, he advised me to go back to where I had the keel surgery. So I went back to the place in Trafford and demanded to speak to the surgeon who did my surgery. And didn't really get any joy from it. The first thing he said to me, "This is nothing to do with my surgery," which I thought was a bit alarming at the time.
And at this point, was you fully able? You was able-bodied. Everything was fine.
Yeah. Before I had the keel surgery, I was working as a painter and decorator, which I'd done for 28 years. I was active, going to gyms and doing martial arts and all that. So there were never nothing untoward. And then when I went back to see this orthopaedic guy, he said, "I'll send you for an emergency scan." This was in February 2010. I never got the results of that till, bizarrely, June the 29th, which was my mother's birthday, funny enough. I went back to see this, to get the results. Just took me in a room, me and my first wife. Took me in a room, and he just kept nodding his head. And I said, "Is everything okay?" I said, "Just be straight with me, He says, "You need major surgery." And I thought, well, hang on a minute, major's bad enough, but major surgery. And then he just looked at me and he says, "You're probably never going to walk again, and there's 80 to 90% chance you might be paralysed from the neck down."
So, just to stop you there, sorry to interrupt, but when you heard that, I can't. That's never happened to me, and it's never happened to a lot of people. What was your initial thought when you heard that?
God. I was just in shock. To be honest, I couldn't even speak at the time. Everything was just going through my head, thinking, "It can't be right. He's made a mistake. There was definitely something untoward about it." And then I was worried, obviously, about my kids. I mean, obviously they weren't kids, but because they're grown up. I'm thinking, what I'm going to tell my kids, and they're just running. Your mind's just all over the place, basically. And then he said to me after he said that, he says, but don't worry. He said, I've got the best surgeon in the country. He says, I'm going to ring him for you now. So he actually tried to ring this surgeon straight away, and he couldn't get hold of him. So he says, right, he said, go home. He says, and someone will contact you in a couple of days. Basically, the surgeon rang me, and he said, can you come straight away to Salford Royal? So I went to Salford Royal, and it was just crazy. I remember being lay on a bed. We've got four, consultants around you, and apparently they were pricking my legs with all sorts, and I couldn't feel anything. And he just went, I need to admit you now. And I says, well, hang on a minute. I said, I need to get my head around this. I says, can I go home today? And it was mad because it was my mum's birthday at 29th of June. And I said, you'll laugh at this in a minute. I said, can I go home today? I said, because I need to get my head around this. I'll come back tomorrow. So they allowed it, but it was only because I was watching Stevie Wonder in concert, my favourite singer. So I thought, I'm not missing that for nobody. So obviously I went back the day after, and they thought he had a spinal tumour. Well, that's what they said. So they operated, and they couldn't get to the problem. They said it was deep inside the spinal cord. And then I was like, to be honest, I was like a guinea pig for about 10 days because I don't think they knew exactly what was going on properly. But I just had to go with it. I knew that it was something, I assumed it was something to do with the keel surgery. But anyway, cutting it short, they basically, after the 10 days, they diagnosed me with a spinal AVM, which is arteriovenous vascular malformation, which is a strangulation of blood vessels. Apparently that can grow in any part of your body. And basically mine, unfortunately, was inside the spinal cord, so they had to sever the spinal cord. And they said I'd never walk again. And then once I had the surgery, I got sent to a rehab at Fairfield Hospital in Bury, and they said I was going to be in there about 12 months. And I got out. I managed to walk in 9.5 weeks. So yeah, not properly, but with two sticks. Oh, my family's amazing. Obviously they were devastated. My son, my daughter, my wife at the time. My friend. Everybody was just devastated. You know what I mean? But I mean, it's hard to explain really. It was, yeah, it's a shock to your system, and you're thinking, well, I'm either going to go that way or that way. And I just sat there one day. In fact, when I came out of rehab, and I remember them bringing me home in the ambulance, and I went through my front door into my lounge. Basically, that's my living quarters. Then that's when reality kicked in. That's when it hit me big time, and I wouldn't say I was feeling sorry for myself, but I broke down, had a massive breakdown, and then I just said to myself, "Come on, you can do this."
With you, one of your most what with you, what I always see is just like your energy, man. Your energy and just your personality. It's powerful, brother. As soon as you walk in, and the way you just approach life, it's literally just the most amazing thing. What was the turning point for you? Did you have a turning point where you thought, you know what, I'm not going to feel sorry for myself. I'm going to crack on. I'm going to start living my life.
Yeah, lucky for me. I went to get measured up for a wheelchair at Wheelchair Services in Heywood, and when I went in, there were like a sign on the wall saying wheelchair table tennis, ex-Paralympic, coaching people. And I thought, oh, I'll go along to that. So when I went along to that, and after several weeks, I were pretty, became very good at it. And then she says, I think you've got Paralympic potential. And I thought, yeah. So that opened a lot of doors for me because then she put me in a tournament, and I got fourth place on my first tournament, and it was strange. And then me and my friend were going to leave, and then they announced, oh, we've got the best up and coming new player at the tournament. So that gave me a lift. But going into this tournament, what happened there was I was a bit nervous and everything because obviously I had just been hit with my disability and that. But I always remember a lad there called Martin Perry, and he had no hands, and a prosthetic leg, and I went in that place, and as soon as I saw him, I thought, wow, if he can do that, I can do anything, and that's always boosted me. Yeah, it's always kept me, strong-minded and level-headed. Yeah.
Definitely strong-minded. I'm only trying to keep this under 10 minutes, but me and you we could talk for a long time. Well, thank you for spending a little bit of time with me, and we'll do round two. We'll do round two. I'm gonna smash him up.